You're a summoner? That's the weakest class in the world. The moment Lin Xiao awakened his class, everyone laughed at him. His rival called him trash. No team wanted him. No one believed he could clear a dungeon. Even a normal combat class was considered better than becoming a summoner. But they had no idea. Lin Xiao had awakened a unique S-tier talent. A talent so powerful that nobody else in the world could ever obtain it. Every single day, he gains a brand new S-rank talent. His first summon was just a tiny skeleton. Weak, pathetic, worthless. But after receiving an S-rank talent, it evolved into a terrifying Death Knight. A monster capable of slaughtering entire armies. Then his slime gained the power of endless evolution through devouring. His goblin became a master of legendary weapons. And that was only the beginning. While other people struggled to make one summon stronger, Lin Xiao gave countless S-rank talents to all of his summons. Every day they evolved. Every day they grew stronger. Every day they became more terrifying. Geniuses? Prodigies? Heroes? None of them could even defeat his weakest summon. Then the abyss descended upon the world. Demon gods appeared. Ancient monsters awakened. Even the gods themselves looked down upon humanity. But when humanity stood on the edge of extinction, one man stepped forward. Behind him stood an army powerful enough to shake heaven and earth. An army of death knights, ancient beasts, divine creatures, and beings powerful enough to rival gods. The world finally realized one terrifying truth. The strongest army was never an army. The strongest kingdom was never a kingdom. It was one summoner, and his summons. This is the story of Lin Xiao, the summoner who turned the weakest class into the strongest existence in the world. Week 1 8-hour video will be uploaded. All novels uploaded here are completed, so you will get a full story without searching or waiting. I have listened to the translated version on web, and there are no major problems with translation. If you want Chinese novel translated, give me the original name of the novel and I will respond to your request as soon as possible. Please make sure your request is on the latest video. If you hear this "u" sound in the novel, it means either question mark or some space is left, like getting materials or experience gained there more but not shown. If after a name is used and after there is silence, it means exclamation marks were used as in shock. I don't know if this will happen in recorded one, but it happened in web version. Chapter 232. The holy light was glorious, sending down countless light arrows to punish the enemy. Chun Chuyang actively stepped onto the main battlefield, and the holy light hammer was summoned once again. Here I come. A loud shout showcased Chun Chuyang's confidence. How noisy! You dare to boast here with merely a briefly acquired awakened power. The ice and snow queen's gaze suddenly turned cold, and the frost power surrounding her instantly boiled and surged, condensing in the blink of an eye into a turbulent ice tide that swept overwhelmingly toward the two men. Long Zhe used a flash step and appeared before the ice and snow queen. The ice tide crashed against the burning body, generating terrifying steam. His right hand clenched into a fist, wrapped in raging, scorching flames, and he violently smashed it toward the ice and snow queen. The moment the fist struck out, a soul-stirring roar of a blazing dragon suddenly sounded. The blazing dragon awakened within the flames, breaking through its restraints. Holy light judgment! Almost simultaneously, Chun Chuyang muttered a low shout and pointed his two fingers forward. The ground beneath the ice and snow queen's feet erupted in light, and a blinding sun slowly rose, floating in midair. Immediately after, countless light arrows poured down from the sun like heavy rain. Facing the aggressive attacks from the two men, the ice and snow queen showed no fear, a cold arc forming at the corner of her mouth. She placed her scepter in front of her, outlining profound ice runes. The ice tide seemed to be summoned by something, rotating rapidly in a bizarre manner, forming an indestructible ice barrier. Long Zhe's blazing dragon fist was the first to strike the ice barrier. Amidst the fierce roar, fire and frost collided wildly, creating scorching steam. The surrounding air was warped and deformed by this terrifying power. At the same time, Chun Choyang's light arrows shot forth like sharp darts, and every hit splashed up a shower of ice shards. Bang! The defense of the ice barrier shattered with a crash. The light arrows, carrying immense power, along with the incomparably fierce fist, heavily slammed into the Ice and Snow Queen. The power of this punch is far fiercer than before. The Ice and Snow Queen staggered, looking utterly disheveled. She quickly glanced at Long Zhe, then fixed her gaze on Chan Choyang, muttering softly. The light emitted by the priest awakened the hidden power within him. Before she could catch her breath, the Death Knight appeared behind the Ice and Snow Queen like a phantom, thrusting its long spear, wrapped in dense death power, swiftly toward her vital point. The Ice and Snow Queen's eyes instantly turned cold as she glared behind her. With just a cold gaze, the Death Knight's body was instantly enveloped in frost and rapidly frozen. Just as she prepared to deal with the Death Knight in front of her, an unexpected change occurred. A wisp of golden flame slowly drifted down in the void. Wherever it passed, the space seemed to be scorched, leaving a twisted trace. Forbidden curse, world-ending fire source. At the same time, a massive meteorite fireball, carrying an aura of world destruction, smashed violently toward the Ice and Snow Queen's location. Forbidden curse, heavenly meteorite stone. Boom! Heaven and earth shattered. Terrifying power raged, causing the entire palace to shake violently under the impact. Stone fragments flew everywhere, threatening collapse at any moment. When the rolling smoke and dust slowly dissipated, the Ice and Snow Queen, revealed to everyone's eyes, had lost her previous arrogance and majesty, appearing utterly wretched. Good. Very good. The Ice and Snow Queen gritted her teeth, forcing out those words one by one. Her eyes flashed with cold light, brimming with killing intent. Buzz! A deep and distant tremor echoed in the silent space. The scepter, symbolizing the Ice and Snow Queen's authority, slowly floated up in front of her, then shattered without warning. The gem inside emitted a deep blue light, slowly drifting out and releasing an extreme cold ice power. This power surged frantically toward the Ice and Snow Queen's body, completely submerging her in the blink of an eye. As the power was injected, the Ice and Snow Queen's appearance began to undergo a terrifying transformation. Her original ice blue gown quickly transformed under the erosion of frost into sharp ice crystals, which reassembled into a strange garment, radiating a chilling aura. At the same time, her skin was gradually covered by a layer of translucent ice armor, upon which intricate patterns spread. Behind her, thick ice cones grew out from her shoulder blades. Their tips shimmered with a heart-pounding cold light, capable of easily tearing apart all things in the world. Fine frost continuously condensed on the ice cones, trembling slightly with the Queen's every breath, as if they were alive. And the gem that emitted the extreme cold ice power transformed into a dazzling crown, settling firmly atop the Ice and Snow Queen's head. The one standing before Lin Xiao and the others now was the true Ice and Snow Queen. But Lin Xiao and the others didn't think so. The Ice and Snow Queen, who was originally awe-inspiring, now resembled a demon descended from the frozen hell. The Ice Demon, The powerful pressure and death aura radiating from her body froze the very air. Every inch of space was filled with the aura of death and destruction. "It's here. This is her true form," Long Zhe shouted. Chan Shoyang looked at the Ice and Snow Queen's transformation and was so angry he wanted to curse. "Damn it! She has a second form?" The Ice and Snow Queen was already difficult to deal with, and Long Zhe had been fighting for so long using his awakening skill without securing a victory. Now, relying on the power of Lin Xiao's summoned beast, he also activated his awakening skill, only managing to force out her second form. So she hadn't been using her full strength before. Huh? Watching the Ice and Snow Queen transform into the Ice Demon, Lin Xiao froze in place. The information provided by the Abyssal Eye also changed. The name shifted from Ice and Snow Queen to Ice Demon. If the Ice and Snow Queen was merely a disguise for the Ice Demon, the Abyssal Eye should have been able to read that, but there was no such information when he first saw her. The person facing him before was indeed a human. That meant the Ice and Snow Queen could switch back and forth between human and demon forms. She possessed a method to turn a demon back into a human. Thinking of this, Lin Xiao became extremely agitated. If he obtained this method, he would have a chance to save his parents. He had been wondering where to search for a way to turn a demon back into a human. As he had no leads, but unexpectedly, it was right in front of him now. Is this fate guidance? Allowing me to encounter it so quickly? Lin Xiao thought of the god of fun again, where he had received the clearance reward, fate guidance. However, it was hard to tell clearly whether fate, this elusive and ethereal thing, was truly exerting its power and guiding his search. If it were a normal goddess of fate, perhaps Lin Xiao would have believed it was the power of fate, but she liked causing trouble and watching the fun all day long, completely lacking the demeanor a goddess of fate should have, which made Lin Xiao extremely suspicious. Who cares? As long as I can find it, that's what matters. Chapter 233. Death is your destined path, and the Ice and Snow will guide your way. The Ice and Snow Queen's hollow, chilling voice, laden with endless cold, boomed throughout the entire palace. Before the words had even faded, she suddenly raised her right hand. In an instant, four massive, bizarrely shaped ice pillars fell from the sky, slamming into the four corners. The cold seeped everywhere. Wherever it touched, everything was frozen. Xinlu, Chu Choyue, and the others didn't even have time to let out a cry before they were frozen into ice sculptures. A layer of crystalline ice encased their bodies, turning them completely into a part of the world of ice and snow. In the blink of an eye, only Long Zhe, Chan Shoyang, and Lin Xiao remained at the scene. Watching this scene unfold, the expressions of the three became grave. At this moment, the void shattered, and Yan Anning fell out from within. A starry sky reflected behind her, resisting the intrusion of the terrifying cold. Lin Xiao glanced at her and teased, "Not hiding anymore? I'm not hiding. I'm just evading attacks." Yan Anning stood up, looking at the Ice and Snow Queen, whose form was changing in the distance, and said, "The cold she is releasing now is too terrifying. It can already invade my star domain, so I had no choice but to come out. Hiding in the star domain isn't invincible. It's easy to be found out. It's just a temporary means of evading attacks, so this doesn't count as hiding. Forget about those ice pillars. Let's end this quickly. I can't hold this state for long," Chan Shoyang roared. He knew in his heart that his awakening skill was only temporary. The duration was extremely limited, and it could not afford such pointless consumption. No, you go destroy the ice pillars. I'll hold her back. Long Zay's gaze was locked tightly on the Ice and Snow Queen, and he spoke rapidly. The Ice and Snow Queen's power is crazy and terrifying right now, but its dissipation rate is equally astonishing. These ice pillars are the source sustaining her power. As long as we destroy the ice pillars, she will surely crumble. Without waiting for Lin Xiao and Chun Choyang to respond, he shot toward the Ice and Snow Queen like an arrow released from a bow. In an instant, blazing flames flared up once more, but under the terrifying might of the frost, these flames appeared somewhat dim. Long Zay concentrated the burning flames into his right arm and threw a punch, slamming heavily into the ice barrier. Using the rebound force, he leaped high into the air, then suddenly twisted his body in midair and stomped down with all his might. Under Long Zay's fierce assault, the ice barrier developed dense cracks. However, in the blink of an eye, the dense icy aura quickly filled them in, and the ice barrier healed at a speed visible to the naked eye, becoming even more impregnable than before. The Ice and Snow Queen stood proudly, merely glancing casually at Long Zay's frenzied attacks, completely ignoring them. Following this, she slowly raised her right hand and elegantly made a cupping motion, as if welcoming the most precious treasure in the world. In an instant, the surrounding cold surged from all directions, pouring madly into her palm. In her palm, a deep blue light flickered, and a strange ice core was slowly condensing, gradually taking shape. The appearance of the ice core distorted even space itself with this powerful force. With every wisp of cold condensing, the sound of collapse came from the air, as if it were overwhelmed. Chun Choyang quickly arrived in front of an ice pillar. Feeling the cold constantly rushing at him, he felt as if his bones were about to be frozen into ice shards. Holy light above, descend with divine punishment, and completely destroy the evil before me. Chun Choyang roared at the sky, his holy wings glowing brilliantly, dazzling to the extreme. Bolts of light thunder, as thick as an arm, fell, tearing through the air and striking the ice pillar that radiated bone-chilling cold. Facing the attack of the light thunderbolts, the ice pillar suffered no damage whatsoever. A continuous stream of cold still surged madly from within it, flowing toward the Ice and Snow Queen. I shall become light and dispel all darkness and sin, Chun Choyang roared. In an instant, the light around his body surged, and he himself slowly transformed into pure light, turning into a giant thunderbolt that slammed fiercely into the ice pillar. Boom! A loud bang shook the entire space violently. The ice pillar finally could not withstand this powerful force and collapsed with a roar, turning into countless ice shards that splattered in all directions. Chun Choyang knelt heavily on one knee on the ground, his chest heaving violently as he gasped for breath. His face was as pale as paper, watching his own body gradually become covered in frost amidst the permeating cold. He pulled a cold smile at the corner of his mouth. In an instant, the frost completely engulfed him, turning him into an ice sculpture, frozen in place. On the other side, Yen Anning quickly rushed to the nearest ice pillar, chanting under her breath. A moment later, brilliant star magic like a surging tide struck the ice pillar one after another. Every streak of star magic left behind a gorgeous trail. However, as she continued to output power, her vast and brilliant starry sky gradually lost its radiance, becoming increasingly weak. Boom! Under continuous attacks, the ice pillar finally could not bear it any longer and collapsed with a roar. With the starry sky at my back, Star power is inexhaustible. It's truly too powerful. Yan Anning sighed in admiration. Her awakening skill seemed quite good. She quickly turned her gaze toward the direction where Lin Xiao was and flew toward him without the slightest hesitation. Boom! 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 Deafening explosions rang out one after another, the resulting shock waves impacting the surroundings. The slime's magic surged throughout its body, releasing one fire-type forbidden curse after another. Each forbidden curse carried world-destroying, scorching power, accompanied by dazzling flames. However, to Lin Xiao's surprise, the ice pillar still stood in its place, unmoved, without even a crack appearing, not even a single speck of ice falling off. Damn! Why is this thing so hard? Lin Xiao widened his eyes. This was a forbidden curse, and 3 or 4 of them at that, yet there was absolutely no reaction. Yan Anning arrived beside Lin Xiao and explained, "This ice pillar is extremely special. Ordinary power cannot shatter it. Perhaps only awakening power can destroy it." After speaking, she got into position, ready to strike. "Let me handle it." Just as Yan Anning was about to make a move, a flash of emerald green light suddenly streaked by. Little Mo appeared on Lin Xiao's shoulder like an agile elf. Her eyes flashed with a mysterious luster, and she lightly tapped the ice pillar with her small finger. In an instant, an invisible yet majestic telekinetic force surged out. Rumble, rumble. Under the powerful drive of the telekinetic force, the ice pillar was actually ripped out by force, accompanied by the whistling of the wind, and slammed violently into another ice pillar. Bang! A loud bang made people's eardrums ache. In the violent collision, the 2 ice pillars turned into countless fragments, scattering all over the ground like snowflakes. Lin Xiao watched everything in shock, then looked at little Mo beside him. "How did you come out on your own?" Chapter 234. Lin Xiao was surprised. How could Xiao Mo run out on her own? However, since she had managed to destroy 2 ice pillars in one go, she had successfully completed her task. He stopped dwelling on the matter and turned his gaze toward where Long Zhe was. He gasped in shock. High in the air above Long Zhe's position, a massive ice core was suspended. Its surface was densely covered with sharp, uneven ice spikes that extended outward recklessly, resembling a giant, vicious sea urchin. In the dim light, these ice spikes shimmered with a cold, piercing glare, each one seemingly containing terrifying power, constantly emitting a heart-stopping chill from every angle. How long has it been? And this thing has already grown this big? Lin Xiao was shocked. Yan Anning was equally shocked, staring at the ice core hanging in the sky like a giant meteor. This isn't right. Didn't we destroy all the ice pillars? How is she still continuing? Just imagining this behemoth crashing down made one shudder. Everything on the ground would be instantly crushed, leaving not even a trace behind. The ice pillars were just the source supporting her power, Long Zhe said. That was true. Destroying the ice pillars only cut off the Ice and Snow Queen's energy supply, but her move would still continue. If they hadn't cut it off, it would have been even more terrifying. Long Zhe had tried to stop her, but he couldn't. The Ice and Snow Queen in this state had astonishingly high defense, which even his fists couldn't break. Prepare yourselves, and protect Lin Xiao well. He is our hope for leaving this place, Long Zhe said to the 2 of them. Of the 13 people who had fought until now, only the 3 of them remained, but as long as Lin Xiao didn't die, they could be resurrected. I have my own means of self-preservation, so just protect yourselves. Besides, the resurrection spell has a limited number of uses. If both of you die, I might not be able to resurrect everyone who has died. Using Shenlu's time power, there were only 10 chances for resurrection. If both Long Zhe and Yan Anning died, 2 people would definitely be unable to be resurrected. As for who that would be, the priority would certainly be those who hadn't bought insurance. Then let's each try to save our own lives, Long Zhe said, looking at the ice core in the sky. At this moment, the Ice and Snow Queen also made a move. She raised her right hand and slowly lowered it forward. The massive ice core in the sky fell along with it, and then her cold, emotionless voice rang out. To be able to die under the ice core is your greatest honor. Then let's each try our best to save our own lives. Long Zhe stared intently at the ice core hanging high in the sky, his voice low. Just then, the Ice and Snow Queen, who had been standing on the ice field, finally made a move. Her fair, frost-like right hand slowly raised and then, without warning, slowly fell. The massive ice core in the high sky, like a meteor breaking free from its restraints, fell toward the ground. To be able to die under the ice core is your greatest honor. The air was compressed at high speed, emitting a sharp whistle, as if the entire world were letting out a desperate wail under the crushing of this terrifying power. Wherever the ice core passed, space seemed to be twisted, and ripples visible to the naked eye spread wildly in all directions. Looking at this ice core that blotted out the sky and carried an aura of destruction, a deep sense of powerlessness surged into the hearts of Long Zhe and the others like a tide. In Long Zhe's eyes, hot and firm flames burned, without the slightest intention of retreating. He clenched his teeth tightly, every muscle tense like a bowstring, erupting with resolute power. In an instant, the energy around his body, like a burning fire dragon, surged and roared wildly on his skin with a world-destroying momentum. Facing the terrifying and despair-inducing ice core, Long Zhe shouted, suddenly raising his arms high. His clothes whipped in the strong wind as he intended to withstand this terrifying blow with his physical body. The ice core, carrying the force of billions of tons, smashed down, colliding head-on with Long Zhe's power. At that moment, space was torn to shreds, the earth shook violently, and cracks spread wildly into the distance like a spider web. Under the impact of this world-destroying power, the ground beneath Long Zhe's feet instantly collapsed, and hard rocks flew up like powder. His arms began to tremble, and his body involuntarily sank slowly, but his eyes remained as firm as iron. In the end, the Ice and Snow Queen was still superior, and the ice core gradually swallowed Long Zhe. Lin Xiao quickly took back all his summoned beasts. He didn't have anything to prepare. What followed was waiting for death, and then waiting for the earth preservation set to resurrect him. At this moment, he noticed that Yan Anning was gone. She must have hidden in the star domain again. He had only heard her say that hiding in the star domain didn't mean she would be safe and sound. She would still take damage. He could only hope she wouldn't die so that with the extra quota, he could collect another insurance fee. Resurrecting her wasn't very cost-effective. After all, there was still a transaction between the two of them. Watching Long Zhe being ruthlessly swallowed by the ice core, a ding sound rang out, like a funeral bell from the abyss of hell, striking the prelude to destruction. In an instant, a boundless force of frost swept wildly outward in a ring from the ice core as the center. Wherever it passed, The air was frozen into countless tiny ice crystals, like billions of sharp blades whistling and piercing everything. The frost force collided with the ice and snow queen's throne, which symbolized the power of the supreme being. In just a single encounter, the throne, like a fragile sandcastle, turned into powder. Even the ice and snow queen, who had once been high above and controlled this world of ice and snow, could not escape the judgment of this terrifying power. She had no defense, or rather, she had no defense at all and was cut in half by this terrifying force. Lin Xiao calmly faced the incoming frost force. He didn't know how he died. He only vaguely heard the sound of ice shattering, and when he opened his eyes again, he was already lying on the ice. The taste of death is really unpleasant. The immunity effect of the evil dragon scale leggings really didn't work. Lin Xiao rubbed his temples. Seeing the ice and snow queen's world-destroying blow, he had vaguely felt that the evil dragon scale leggings wouldn't be able to block this damage. Although there was an immunity effect, there would also be a threshold. The ice and snow queen's attack had obviously exceeded this threshold. Resurrect first. Lin Xiao was just about to summon the slime when a voice suddenly rang out, scaring him half to death. You actually have the ability to automatically resurrect. Is this like your skill? No, it's your equipment effect. You guys are way too good at hiding things. Lin Xiao was startled by this sudden voice. Looking in the direction of the sound, he found it was Yan Anning. She hadn't died. You actually managed to survive? Lin Xiao was shocked. When the Ice and Snow Queen first activated her second form, the cold might had forced her out of the star domain. But now that the Ice and Snow Queen had used her ultimate move, she had actually been safe and sound hiding inside. Of course, I had to pay the price of losing levels to barely escape that calamity. I'm only level 50 now. Chapter 235. Lin Xiao discovered that Yan Anning's level had indeed dropped significantly, falling directly from the original level 56 to level 50. At high levels, every increase requires a massive amount of experience, let alone Yan Anning losing 6 levels all at once. To save her life, she truly paid a heavy price. The terror of the Ice Core had shaved off half of the palace directly. Where Long Zhe had been standing, an enormous, bottomless pit was left behind. Lin Xiao summoned the slime and said, "Now that not even dust remains of them, I wonder if they can still be resurrected. The first person to be resurrected must be Shenlu. She is a time healer, and her ability will be needed later to resurrect the others. You only just remembered that resurrection requires a complete body? What were you doing earlier? It's only a possibility. When Shenlu resurrected Ling Xiaoqin back then, she could resurrect even minced meat. Since they've turned into ice shards now, maybe it's still possible." The Ice and Snow Queen's attack was a full map area of effect. How could he possibly protect them one by one? Besides, he couldn't have done it anyway. At this moment, Yan Anning activated the star domain, and an ice sculpture was taken out. Lin Xiao was stunned for a moment. Shenlu. Yes. I deliberately kept a backup plan to prevent them from being unresurrectable, Yan Anning said smugly. When Shenlu was frozen, she quickly brought her into the star domain, allowing her to avoid the subsequent impact of the aftershocks. Looking at Shenlu's ice sculpture, Lin Xiao suddenly remembered something. Shenlu had used time to engrave her own resurrection spell. If she died, the skill would immediately take effect, but it hadn't, so... She wasn't dead yet. Yan Anning said, "Let's resurrect her first and then the others." "All right, but first we need to do some preparation." As Lin Xiao spoke, he smashed the ice sculpture in front of him into pieces with one punch. Ah! What are you doing? Yan Anning was startled by Lin Xiao's actions and subconsciously retreated a few steps. She's not dead yet. I'm sending her off, Lin Xiao said calmly. Not dead. Yan Anning was surprised. Frozen like this, and she's still not dead? Then, she realized, if she isn't dead, why did you have to kill her? Wouldn't it be better to save a resurrection charge? Since Shenlu was still alive, she truly couldn't understand why Lin Xiao had killed her. The resurrection spell requires her ability. Since she's in this state, saving her would take a lot of time. It's better to just kill her directly and save the trouble of treatment. The resurrection spell has limitations. It only works within 1 day of death. Do you think she could recover in a single day? After explaining, Lin Xiao countered with a question. Yan Anning pondered, feeling that what he said seemed somewhat reasonable. At this moment, a strange forbidden curse array was fully outlined and slowly descended. Then the shattered ice pieces quickly pieced themselves back together, and the frost on her body gradually receded. Shenlu stood up, rubbed her temples with a frown, and glanced at Lin Xiao. Your strike was too heavy. I feel like my internal organs were shattered. Lin Xiao was stunned. You could feel that even after dying? I wasn't dead when you hit me. I only died when the ice shattered. I was frozen, but I could still hear and perceive what was happening outside. Lin Xiao, start resurrecting them. Slime, they are your responsibility. There are 13 people, 3 of whom didn't die, so the number of charges is exactly enough. Leaving the resurrection task to the slime, Lin Xiao did not stay to watch but instead went to the deep pit where the ice core had erupted. The extremely powerful frost energy caused flowers of ice crystals to grow here, and in the central area, Lin Xiao saw half a body. Long Zhe, are you dead? Lin Xiao shouted the question, but received no response. He then summoned the 9-tailed celestial fox, mounted it, and flew directly toward the central area. He saw Long Zhe, only half a torso remaining, slumped weakly on the cold ground, looking utterly miserable, a sight too gruesome to behold. The power of the biting frost had completely eroded his body. Ice crystals like spores were sprouting from his skin, densely covering and growing rampantly along his arms, shoulders, and even his cheeks. To be in the center and still have a relatively complete body left, that's truly incredible. Lin Xiao was astonished by Long Zhe's strength. Just as he was about to take Long Zhe's body back, he saw him open his eyes. You're not dead. Lin Xiao stared wide-eyed at Long Zhe, as if he had seen a ghost. This vitality rivals that of Xiao Chong. Heh. Even if I'm not dead, I won't live for much longer, but I will try my best to hold on for 2 days. Long Zhe spoke weakly, struggling to piece together a sentence. Hold on for 2 days? Lin Xiao was stunned for a second or two before understanding what he meant. Long Zhe wanted to wait for the cooldown of his resurrection spell, because he had told Long Zhe the rules of the resurrection spell. No need. You can die now. We have enough resurrection spells. Lin Xiao felt strange when he said those words, but as long as the meaning got across. Don't move me. Let me stay here and come back to find me in 2 days. Long Zhe seemed not to have heard Lin Xiao, speaking to himself. Lin Xiao fell silent, feeling a sense of admiration as he watched Long Zhe resisting death purely through willpower. He had given the resurrection charges to the others first. He was waiting for the next round. There was actually no need for this, but given his current condition, he didn't seem able to receive the information Lin Xiao was conveying. Lin Xiao considered killing him directly and taking him back, but after thinking about it, he decided against it. Leaving the central blast zone, Lin Xiao arrived at the place where the Ice and Snow Queen had died. Only half of the Ice and Snow Queen's body remained. Even she couldn't escape the ice core's explosion and was directly snapped in half. She was not dead yet, still clinging to her last breath. However, she was already spent like a lamp running out of oil. Except for her constitution, all her attributes had dropped to zero, and her remaining life force was gradually draining away. Can you still hear me speak? I want to know how you are able to transform between human and demon. Lin Xiao wasn't sure if she could hear him, but he stated his question directly. The Ice and Snow Queen slightly raised her head. At this point, Lin Xiao finally saw her appearance clearly. Her skin was shriveled and her face covered in wrinkles, making her look like an old woman in her 70s or 80s. Presumably, the final blow had completely drained her. Lin Xiao was not surprised by the Ice and Snow Queen's appearance. Seeing the slight agitation in her expression as she looked at him meant she could hear what he was saying. I want to know the method for switching between human and demon, or even just changing back from a demon to a human. Lin Xiao asked again. The Ice and Snow Queen gave no answer, just stared blankly at Lin Xiao, her eyes filled with muddiness. After waiting for a minute, Lin Xiao ultimately received no answer. I'll take a bit of everything from you to use as research material. He planned to take some skin and hair for research material, a last resort. Then he would have Remy study them, hoping for some insight. Just as Lin Xiao prepared to act, a green light flashed, and Xiao Mo reappeared on his shoulder. Lin Xiao glanced at her. Why did you run out again? Nian. Xiao Mo responded, then pointed her small finger forward, releasing her psychic power. To Lin Xiao's shock, the surrounding scene rapidly rewound. Chapter 236. The scene rapidly receded. Through the green screen outside, Lin Xiao watched as the dilapidated palace gradually recovered, restoring its former glory in moments. Suddenly, a strong sense of weightlessness made Lin Xiao dizzy. When everything finally stopped, Lin Xiao shook his heavy head, looked up, and found himself in a magnificent ice palace, directly facing the towering ice throne. Upon the throne sat the Ice and Snow Queen. This time, without the obscuring mist, Lin Xiao clearly saw her face. Her skin was as translucent as thousand-year-old profound ice, emitting a cold luster. Her eyes were like the deep, serene glow at the bottom of a cold pond, deep and melancholic blue. 3,000 strands of hair flowed smoothly behind her, occasionally sparkling with tiny ice crystals. She wore an ice-blue robe, woven from countless ice flakes as thin as cicada wings. At the hem of the robe, icicle-shaped decorations hung naturally, shimmering with cold light, adding to her frosty demeanor. The Ice and Snow Queen's beauty was utterly devoid of warmth. She sat there quietly, her aura cold and noble, as if all things in the world were beneath her gaze. Ice and Snow Queen? Lin Xiao exclaimed. Isn't she dying? How? Memories of the past. God of Thought sent you back to see this queen. What is it? The Ice and Snow Queen spoke indifferently, seemingly not surprised by Lin Xiao's appearance. Memories of the past? Lin Xiao was startled and looked at Xiao Jing beside him. You also have the ability to send people back in time? Nian. Xiao Jing folded her little hands, indicating that she did it and asking if she was amazing. Lin Xiao was surprised by Xiao Jing's ability, but quickly understood why Xiao Jing would do this. He looked at the ice and snow queen on the throne and asked, I want to know how a demon can turn back into a human. The ice and snow queen frowned. A demon turning back into a human? Xiao Jing very sensibly emitted a green light, displaying the previous battle scene, which was the ice and snow queen's second form. The sudden scene startled Lin Xiao. The ice and snow queen seeing herself transform like that, wouldn't she get angry and instantly kill him? However, thinking that this was the past, the ice and snow queen should not be able to act against him, so his worry lessened a bit. I cannot explain it to you, perhaps it is my constitution or my blood. The ice and snow queen said indifferently.
Constitution?
Blood. Lin Xiao murmured this was similar to what he had thought. He then looked at the ice and snow queen. It shouldn't be a problem if I take some of your blood for research, right? Although he didn't need the ice and snow queen's permission to take her blood, he still informed her. Permitted. The ice and snow queen's voice echoed in the palace. In the distant future, I have already been defeated by you. The victor should have the right to deal with the defeated, so you do not need my permission. After speaking, the ice and snow queen's gaze fell on Xiao Jing. The former god of thought has also become like this, but surviving is not a bad choice. Xiao Jing proudly put her hands on her hips, indicating how amazing she was. Hearing this, a bold idea popped into Lin Xiao's mind, and he immediately asked, Ice and Snow Queen, are you? Ice God. Ice element abilities and knowing Xiao Jing made it hard for Lin Xiao not to think in that direction. Ice God? No, I am just an inheritor. He fell before I could inherit the position of Ice God, and I ended up here, becoming a tribal queen. The Ice and Snow Queen answered every question, recounting a period of her past experiences. Ice God inheritor. No wonder she's so abnormal. If she were any stronger, they would probably have been completely annihilated. You have the aura of the temple. Are you an envoy from the temple? The Ice and Snow Queen asked another question. Temple envoy? Lin Xiao was stunned. Was she referring to him being a professional? You could say that, Lin Xiao nodded. The Ice and Snow Queen didn't respond much, seemingly just confirming the matter. Buzz. At this moment, a green light appeared, and the scene rapidly receded. Xiao Jing's memories of the past time seemed to be up. There was no time for goodbyes. The next second, Lin Xiao was Lin Xiao, Lin Xiao, Lin Xiao. As soon as he regained his senses, Lin Xiao heard someone calling his name. He turned his head and saw Yan Anning standing beside him, her hand waving back and forth in front of him. Lin Xiao moved her hand away and asked, What's wrong? Did the resurrection fail? That's what I should be asking you. You've been standing here for a long time, as if you've lost your soul. The Ice and Snow Queen has turned into an old hag. What's there to look at? Yan Anning couldn't help but ask. Lin Xiao didn't answer. Looking at the Ice and Snow Queen, who had little life left, he quickly began the work of taking blood, and also collected some skin and hair. No matter what, at least he had taken a step forward. What are you doing? Although the Ice and Snow Queen isn't dead yet, she won't live much longer. Yan Anning looked at Lin Xiao's actions with incomprehension. Don't disturb me. You should go check on Shenlu and the others. Lin Xiao quickly sent her away, lest she interfere with his work here. Yan Anning saw his demeanor, as if he was doing something important, and didn't dare to disturb him further, so she left. Soon, Lin Xiao had collected a small jar of blood. Just as he planned to take some hair and skin fragments, a notification sounded in his ear. Congratulations! You have successfully slain the Ice and Snow Queen boss. Experience plus 1 million. Obtained. Ice and Snow Queen treasure chest. Boss. *2. Ice Waterfall Divine Art. Ice Forbidden Curse. Ice Crystal *10. Ice and Snow Staff *1. Legendary. Ice Heart Core. Congratulations on your first clear of the hidden dungeon, Ice Snow Queen's Palace. Experience plus 500,000. Free attribute points plus 500. Hidden treasure chest *2. A huge pile of rewards rang in Lin Xiao's ears for a full 2 minutes. The experience was incredibly high, directly pushing his level to 40. Holy crap! An excited roar came from not far away. Clearly, they had also received impressive clear rewards. Lin Xiao ignored them, looking at the Ice and Snow Queen's corpse, ready to continue working. But just then, he thought of another method. He summoned Xiao Jing, and a blue ice prism floated before her chest. Even if it's only half, it should be enough, Lin Xiao murmured, then issued a command to Xiao Jing. Use Spirit Coffin to contain the Ice and Snow Queen's corpse. Xiao Jing glowed in response. Then pieces of spirit mirror fragments appeared around the Ice and Snow Queen, piecing together to form a transparent spirit coffin. Since I'm taking some anyway, might as well take it all, Lin Xiao said to himself. Nian, Xiao Jing chirped, and then a ball of green light floated from a distance, its telekinesis, Nianli, wrapping around the lower half of the Ice and Snow Queen's body. Well done, Xiao Jing. Lin Xiao gave her a thumbs up. Although the upper half of the Ice and Snow Queen might have been enough, he wouldn't mind having more, as he didn't know how much would be needed for research. The Ice and Snow Queen's corpse was sealed in the spirit coffin, then slowly sank and was collected by Xiao Jing. Lin Xiao noticed 4 characters added to Xiao Jing's skill bar. Spirit Coffin, Ice and Snow Queen. Chapter 237. The resurrection spell has 5 uses, and 1 use is restored every 2 days. However, with Xin Lu, the time healer's skill reset, the number of resurrections can reach 10. Long Zhe didn't need to wait 2 days for new resurrection uses, as he had enough. Lin Xiao, these are for you. After resurrecting him, according to their previous agreement, he gave all the rewards from the boss to Lin Xiao, keeping only 1 item for himself. Lin Xiao didn't stand on ceremony and accepted them all. I still owe you a life. If you need anything in the future, you can come directly to me. Those materials were paid for on behalf of Ling Xiaoqin. His own life hadn't been paid for yet. Brother Long is generous. Let's forget about your life. Consider it a buy one get one free deal. Without you, I wouldn't have been able to defeat the Ice and Snow Queen. Let's just be friends. Lin Xiao felt that Long Zhe was a friend worth making, and it was just 1 resurrection use. It wasn't a loss to make such a friend. Long Zhe was stunned by the words, then burst into laughter, patting Lin Xiao's shoulder. Good, you're a good friend. I've made up my mind. Lin Xiao winced from the pat and asked curiously, Does the Ice and Snow Queen have something you need? Of course. I came for this very item. Long Zhe didn't hide it and immediately showed the only item he kept. A crown. It was the one worn on the Ice and Snow Queen's head in her second form. I looked through a lot of information before confirming that this item might be on the Ice and Snow Queen. I didn't expect it to be true. This trip wasn't in vain, Longzhe said. Lin Xiao stared at the Ice and Snow Queen's crown, somewhat shocked, but quickly regained his composure and asked, "What's the use of this crown?" Longzhe put away the crown and smiled. "I can't tell you that yet." Lin Xiao didn't mind. Since Brother Long values it so much, it must be something extraordinary. Although Longzhe didn't reveal the crown's function, Lin Xiao had already seen its effect through the abyssal eye, so it was no wonder Longzhe hadn't told him. This crown was actually the divine spark of the ice god. To be honest, when Lin Xiao first saw the crown's information, he was completely stunned. After a series of confirmations, he was sure he hadn't misread it. No wonder he could give up everything else but only wanted this crown. So that's how it was. The crown's origin was astonishing, but Lin Xiao had no intention of snatching it, as he couldn't beat him anyway. After Longzhe, others also came to pay for their resurrections. "I have a share too," Shenlu said, standing beside Lin Xiao. Lin Xiao glanced at her and said, "Do I look like someone who doesn't keep his word?" At this moment, Wuxiang arrived, with a mischievous smile on his face. "Principal and interest," Lin Xiao said faintly, looking at him. Wuxiang was a bit awkward. "You eat your food bite by bite and you pay your money little by little. Brother, aren't you afraid I won't pay you back?" Lin Xiao, "Then return my set equipment first." "That won't do." Wuxiang quickly took a few steps back, afraid that Lin Xiao would suddenly come and snatch it. Then he explained, "If you want me to pay principal and interest, you should leave the set equipment for me. That way I'll have to challenge high difficulty dungeons. And how can you challenge high difficulty dungeons without epic grade equipment? So, lend it to me first. When I've paid back both principal and interest, I'll return the equipment to you. Anyway, you're already wearing a set. You can't wear an extra one." Shenlu couldn't help but want to laugh at Wuxiang's logic. Wasn't this just making Lin Xiao work like an ox? However, when she heard that Lin Xiao had another set of epic-grade equipment, she looked at him in shock. If he didn't have multiple sets of epic-grade equipment, he wouldn't lend it out. This guy isn't even level 40 and already has 2 sets of epic-grade equipment. What's his background? Shenlu couldn't help but speculate about Lin Xiao's identity. Lin Xiao listened to Wuxiang's words and felt that there was some truth to them. After all, he really didn't need the Heavenly Disaster set. Its effects were far weaker than the Evil Dragon set, even though he hadn't gathered a complete set yet. Although Wuxiang seemed like he was making him work like an ox, it could effectively increase his speed in clearing high-difficulty dungeons, and he could also gain a lot of experience in the process, which Lin Xiao couldn't take away. When his level was higher, he naturally wouldn't need the Heavenly Disaster set. He would have better ones. Finally, Lin Xiao agreed to Wuxiang's condition. Instead of letting the Heavenly Disaster set gather dust in the warehouse, it was better to let it generate some value. After completing the last transaction, Lin Xiao tallied his gains. 7 talent divine stones, 20 legendary materials, 5 skill books, and 500 various materials. This could be considered a great harvest. "I feel like you're not here to clear dungeons. You're here to make money from everyone," Shenlu couldn't help but say. Although she got a share, it was merely a drop in the bucket compared to Lin Xiao's. Lin Xiao chuckled. "Making money and clearing dungeons, 2 birds with 1 stone. Let's continue to cooperate if there's a chance." Shenlu, the time healer, was really convenient and could provide great assistance when clearing dungeons. Such team-based dungeons are rare, and with your strength, you probably don't want to team up with others for night shift dungeons. If you have a dungeon you can't clear, you can invite me. You pay, I work. It's a perfect match. We'll see. Shenlu passed through the portal and left the dungeon. At this moment, Yan Anning also came to say goodbye. Don't forget our agreement. Got it. I hope you're not still lagging behind when I reach level 60. Lin Xiao laughed. Yan Anning glared at Lin Xiao indignantly saying, You still have 20 levels to go, and I only have 10. No, 9 levels left. You can't possibly catch up to me. Can you? Lin Xiao just smiled. You really couldn't say for sure. I'm leaving. Contact me sometime. Yan Anning left the dungeon without looking back. At this moment, Yi Xiaogu appeared beside Lin Xiao like a ghost. Let's clear a dungeon together sometime. Lin Xiao, I generally don't team up with others. Yi Xiaogu blinked. Then why did you team up with Shenlu? And what about your agreement with Yan Anning? Lin Xiao, if Shenlu pays, I might team up with her. As for Yan Anning, she has something I need. Then I can pay too. Okay, I'll consider it. Finally, Lin Xiao also exited the dungeon. Aside from Daylight Yaksha, Ice Snow Queen's palace was the longest dungeon he had ever cleared, taking almost half a month. Time to go back and rest. I wonder if the God of Fun has any news about Old Goat. Lin Xiao took a taxi directly home and didn't return to Imperial Capital University. On the way, a playful laugh echoed in his mind. Hee, I found Old Goat's location. It's a bit far from you. Do you want to go now? It was the God of Fun's voice. Found Old Goat? That's truly great. Quick, tell me his location. Lin Xiao said excitedly. As long as he could get Old Goat's oil, he could enter the Tower of Heaven and begin to remove the heart of curse from his body. Chapter 238. I found the Old Goat's location. Hearing the news brought by the God of Fun, Lin Xiao was slightly excited and waited for her to continue. I found out that the Old Goat has returned to Forging God Mountain, and Forging God Mountain is right there in your eastern peak. You'll have to find the specific location yourself. Eastern Peak. Eastern Peak is even bigger than the west. Where am I supposed to look? It's no different from finding a needle in a haystack. Is there no other information? At least give me a general area. Lin Xiao pressed. No, sorry, I only know that Forging God Mountain is in Eastern Peak. You'll have to find the specific location yourself. Aren't you the god who controls fate? You can't even find this. The power of fate is not meant to be used for things like this. Hearing the God of Fun say this, Lin Xiao felt speechless. Not meant for this? You use it every day for peeping. That must be serious business, right? Fate feels cheapened in your hands. Wait, the Old Goat is the god of forging. Can he appear here? Won't he be erased? Lin Xiao recalled a problem. As far as he knew, gods were not allowed to appear in this world. No, they cannot. That's why he can only stay on Forging God Mountain when he returns here. You can think of Forging God Mountain as a special dungeon, similar to the God's Assembly Hall. A special dungeon. That counts as relatively useful information. Once he reaches Eastern Peak, he can ask around if there are any special dungeons similar to Forging God Mountain. Right. There's something I wanted to ask you. What is it? Can a life class change into a combat class? It must be a combat class. Judging by Lin Yao's class name, it feels like a combat class. A life class transforming into a combat class? The god of fun seemed to have heard something interesting, and her voice carried a hint of excitement. Where have you seen such a person? Lin Xiao, you just need to tell me if it's possible or not. Okay? Oh, I see it now. It turns out it's your younger sister. Lin Xiao had a curse word he wasn't sure if he should utter. She just said the power of fate couldn't be used arbitrarily, and now, suddenly, he felt that asking the god of fun was the most mistaken choice. Lin Xiao took a few deep breaths and asked, "Then do you know the reason?" "I don't know, but this matter is quite interesting. I can help you look into it." He received an unexpected answer, but hearing that the god of fun was very interested and willing to help him investigate was also good news. "All right, then I'll wait for the news." The god of fun didn't reply, likely having gone to investigate. Returning home, Lin Yao wasn't there. She probably hadn't returned yet. So many days have passed, and I don't know how her interview went. She should have passed, right? Putting her matter aside, Lin Xiao first went to take a hot bath to relax. The Ice Snow Queen's palace dungeon was freezing, and taking a hot bath felt so comfortable his soul felt like it was soaking out of him. While bathing, Lin Xiao sorted through the gains from this dungeon run. "I dropped a forbidden curse belonging to the Ice and Snow Queen, which the slime can learn." Lin Xiao looked at the ice waterfall divine art in his hand. The Ice and Snow Queen had been sealed by Chu Chuer right when she intended to cast it, so he wasn't sure of its exact power, but since it was a forbidden curse, it certainly wouldn't be weak. Ice Heart Core. After use by an Ice class or summoned beast, gain 1 S-rank talent. I can get another S-rank talent. This is too amazing. Lin Xiao gave the Ice Heart Core to the Snow Girl doll without hesitation. He had previously obtained a Frozen Heart, which also granted an S-rank talent, although the conditions were somewhat strict for others. But this Ice Heart Core directly grants an S-rank talent, which is much better. Obtain talent, Divine Descent of Frost, S-rank. Isn't this the Ice and Snow Queen's talent? Not bad. It can enhance the power of forbidden curses and reduce casting time, making it perfect for the Snow Girl doll. Lin Xiao looked at the Snow Girl doll's talents. Ice God's Blessing, SSS. Ice Soul Heart, S. Frozen Heart, S. Divine Descent of Frost, S. Extreme Freezing, A. She now had 5 talents, and any ordinary ice magic could inflict high damage. With the 5 talents I got for free, plus the 10 talent divine stones in my possession, I can upgrade Ice God's Blessing to the Brilliant rank and another S-rank talent to the Brilliant rank. Lin Xiao pondered whether he should proceed with the upgrades. 2 Brilliant rank talents. He couldn't imagine how strong the Snow Girl doll would become. Soaking in the tub, watching the ceiling lights gradually fog up, Lin Xiao fell into thought. After an unknown amount of time, he slightly raised himself and leaned against the edge of the wall. Upgrade. Lin Xiao used all the talent divine stones he had acquired. He didn't care what rank of talent he received, as upgrading only required talents, regardless of their rank. The 5 talents melted under Lin Xiao's will and were all integrated into Ice God's Blessing. The light was dazzling, and the next second, a notification sounded in Lin Xiao's ear. Obtain talent, Ice God's Bestowment, Brilliant rank. Ice God's Bestowment. Damage increased by 500%. Range increased by 500%. Ice resistance reduced by -90% upon attack. Causes spread damage upon killing a target. Note: Ice magic automatically converts to Forbidden Curse, Cannot learn ice magic skills. That's too strong. All of the Snow Girl doll's magic skills have turned into forbidden curses. Seeing the power of the new talent, Lin Xiao couldn't help but gasp. Her combat power just increased by a huge margin. Continue. Lin Xiao prepared to help the Snow Girl doll upgrade another talent to the brilliant rank. Just as he was about to upgrade, a notification sounded. Ice Soul Heart, Frozen Heart, and Extreme Freezing are talents of the same origin. Do you wish to upgrade Extreme Freezing to S rank and then synthesize them? Talents of the same origin? Synthesize? Lin Xiao was stunned, then recalled the time the lucky spirit obtained the brilliant rank talent gambler. Chapter 90. 3 S-rank talents could synthesize into a brilliant rank 1. That's great. This saves 5 talents. Lin Xiao immediately agreed. Extreme Freezing began its rank upgrade. Although Extreme Freezing was an A-rank talent, the upgrade still required 5 talents. The required number of talents did not decrease based on rank level. Obtained talent, Heart of Freezing Ice, S rank. Detected that Frozen Heart, Ice Soul Heart, and Heart of Freezing Ice can synthesize into a higher rank talent. Do you wish to synthesize? Synthesize. Lin Xiao nodded excitedly. The 3 talents were sucked in like a vortex, and then a brilliant light shot up into the sky. Obtained talent, Glazed Ice Heart, brilliant rank. Glazed Ice Heart can reset the cooldown of all self-skills during combat. 5 out of 5. Possesses strong perception toward ice-type objects / materials / skills. Note: the talent automatically disappears if you learn skills / abilities / talents other than ice type.